Welcome back, Super Scholars. And today for ELA, we are going to do a compare and contrast of two of the books that we've read so far. Now, I know you're thinking, but Miss Carter, we read 3 books. Yes, we have, but that would be too much for us to try to compare and contrast. And just like we did a compare and contrast of the first 2 books we did, now we're going to do one of the last 2 books that we read. And those 2 books are Pierre the Penguin and Maggie the One-Eyed Peregrine Falcon. And our learning target today is I can compare and contrast the experiences of characters from Pierre the Penguin and Maggie the One-Eyed Peregrine Falcon. What does that mean though? That means that we're going to think about the characters and how the characters feel and what happened to the characters and say, are they the same? Are they different? And you're going to tell me some things that might be the same and some things that may have been different from the character's point of view. So who are the characters in our book? Right. In Pierre the Penguin, we had Pierre and Pam. And in Maggie the Peregrine Falcon, who do we have? We had Maggie and maybe some of the special doctors or special people. Good. What's the setting of both of these books? Right. Pierre was in a museum, in an African hall, in an exhibit for 20 other penguins. Where was Maggie at? She was in a city. She was a city falcon. So her story started on top of a city building. Where did it end though? Right, in the wildlife center where they started to take care of her to help her heal. What was Pierre's problem? Because that's going to be a big part of this compare and contrast. What was the problem that Pierre had? Well, if we think about it and we take a look back at our chart, we know that Pierre loses his feathers, so that means he's cold and he can't swim. And penguins, they can't fly and he can't swim, so what was Pierre going to do? Right, so that was very important. That was a very big problem for Pierre, I can imagine. But what was Maggie's problem? Exactly, Maggie flew into a building and broke her beak and injured her eye. That could have been a serious problem for Maggie. But how do the characters in the book solve these problems? Did Maggie and Pierre solve the problems on their own? No. We're learning that there are characters in stories who help birds. Who are the helpers in the books that we read about? Well, in Pierre and the Penguin, it was Pam. She was the main helper. And she made Pierre a wetsuit so he could stay warm while he swam. That was very helpful. But who was the helper in Maggie's book? It was some doctors and special people at the wildlife hospital. And what did they do to solve Maggie's problem? They removed Maggie's injured eye. They took her eye out. Now, I know some of you are like, Miss Carter, taking my eye out? How is that solving the problem? Well, Maggie's eye was really, really badly hurt. And leaving it in would have just caused her more pain and more hurt. So they took it out. And that way she doesn't feel as much pain and she's doing okay. And how did these stories end? Right, we know that Pierre grew his own feathers to stay warm. That wetsuit just helped him for a while. And then he made a friend, right? But how does Maggie's story end? Maggie heals and becomes an education bird. She is now the bird ambassador and teaches children like you guys and classes and even adults like me about city falcons. So today, you guys are going to do a compare and contrast of all of these things that we just talked about. What does it mean, though, to compare and contrast 2 things? We talked about this before. Let's see who can remember. Right. Compare means to tell something that is similar or alike between 2 different things. We've got 2 different books, and we're going to tell the things that are the same or alike in those books. And what does it mean to contrast those 2 different things? It means to tell the differences. Good. You guys were listening the last time that we did this. So, today, you guys are going to think about all of the things that we just covered, and you're going to use your bird journals and your assessment sheets that's going to be in your slide, and you're going to do a compare and contrast. Now, I want you to use these sentence frames. The characters' experiences are the same because that would be for comparing them. And then the characters' experiences are different because, and we would use that if we were going to contrast these two things. You have to do both, so you're going to use both sentences. And I gave you the beginning because I want it to be a complete sentence. You just fill in and tell me how they're the same and how they're different. I know you guys are super, super smart, but I'm also going to post a picture of our chart so that if you need it, you can look back at it to help you with your answers. Do the best that you can, and parents, try not to help because this is an assessment. I want to just see if they've been listening and paying attention and how their critical thinking skills are going. All right? Do great work, and I'll check in with you guys later for math. Bye.